Hello and welcome to the Bug Culture Trips podcast. I'm joined by George. Hello, George.
Morning,
Looking
mate.
very cozy there with your coffee and your jumper on.
Yeah, I never asked for coffee. I'm always really polite, but I just really wanted one.
And like it's clanking away, making noise on the mic.
I feel like BBC Breakfast. It's so good.
Let's go slightly back in time. Let's talk about one of the first things we discussed, which was over-tourism. Huge subject. I think it's something we're going to come back to because it always comes back in the conversation every year. I mean, approaching peak season in the winter, in the summer, at all times of year. But we did want to discuss it. So what did you want to talk about in terms of over-tourism and how it's impacting the stuff that we do?
It's a big sigh. Doesn't mean it sounds dramatic. I think it's just the numbers, right? This subject has been done so much, but the numbers aren't changing. And I love my research and I love my stats, but I was looking at Venice as a particular, and also the other extremes, Cornwall, and looking at how many visitors go to places like Venice compared to the locals. And it's something like, I'm going to check this. It's like 25 million visitors go to Venice, and that there's only 50,000 locals.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
The closest thing I
nuts.
can think about is in London, I would never, ever go to Trafalgar Square or Piccadilly Circus in peak times unless I'm actually passing through for a specific reason.
Yeah.
But obviously that's one of the first places people from outside want to go to, right? It's those destinations that you know and places that you've seen all the pictures and kind of absorbed through other media.
That's the problem. All these tourist boards they'll do two things, right? They'll try and spread the seasonality. So they'll try and push the shoulder months, and every tourist board will talk about the benefits of going in September and October. And then they also do the geography, the benefits of going slightly further afield, and hidden gems is the name of every frigging tourist board campaign. But it's hard, right, for people to change their habits. That's the thing we're struggling at. So we talk such a lot about responsible tourism, but people think, I can't be asked. That's a really horrible thing to say. And there are lots of people who want to make a change, but I think we need to make it easier in some cases.
Easier and I guess also more financially viable, right? There is a reason why you will go to a certain place because there's more flights there, there's more accommodation, that brings the overall price down, even though you're kind of rubbing shoulders with more and more people as well. So there is that conversation to be had as well, because as much as we want to promote all of the hidden gems out there and all the places that are quite difficult to get to, there's also associated costs with that.
Yeah, definitely. There's a whole nother subject. I want to talk about family holidays and the cost of taking kids out of school.
All right, write that down. That's a new subject.
One for another one. This is really harsh. I think sometimes tourists are a little bit thick. And it's a horrible word, right? But we did this survey, and this is not a shameless plug, promise. And the amount of people that went away in August that didn't have families was nuts. Like, why would you choose to go away in August when you don't have to?
Yeah,
Genuine question. Like, it's double the price, it's double as crowded, and people will moan about how busy the beaches are, how much things cost, and yet they're still going away.
But again, there are more flights being put on by airlines at that time, so there's more options to go to. I mean, a lot of routes are seasonal, so you can only go in those months. You won't be able to travel at other times of the year. So if you want to go to specific places, those routes are only really available at that time of year. I think I'm kind of half and half in agreement with you that I think, you really, if you want to avoid crowds, you shouldn't go at that time of year. That is on you.
Yeah.
But likewise, there are incentives to travel at that time of year. There are more things available. The weather is nicer in certain places as well. Like, Cornwall, I'm sure is nice all year round, but it's particularly nice in August and July.
Yeah.
Well, you don't work for the tourism board, yes. So, yeah.
Hey, listen, we better talk about our guest.
We should talk about a guest. So someone who we really wanted to speak to about this subject gave us his insight. And I think he delved into it really well, but I don't know.
Flavio
is the man.
Why do I say that?
I don't know. You said it in
I feel like I loved speaking to Flavio. The guy's a legend. I felt really, when you look back on yourself on camera, which just also makes you cringe.
Yeah.
And then one of the first things I asked him is, in Italy, do you have roast dinners? Why did I ask him that? What? Like the first 10 minutes of it, just a warning, the whole 10 minutes of it, it's just me talking about food in Issly. And I got him in for Overtourism.
And getting it wrong about food in Italy as well.
Why didn't you stop me? That
I
was
don't
your
know,
fault.
it was just fun to let you go and kind of embarrass yourself. But it was a really good chat with Flavio. And he takes us through Overtourism.
He is brilliant. So we should really probably stop talking and just get on with the episode. Yeah? Sound good. Enjoy this one.
Hello and welcome to the Bug, Culture Trip's brand new travel podcast. I'm joined by some very special guests here, including the man to my left. You are?
George Hiles, commercial director at Culture Trip, photography obsessed, and I'd say semi-expert at UK coastal holidays.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's definitely my thing. Cornwall, Devon.
Okay, these are all prepared lines. I'm Cassam from Culture Trip. I like Hunter. That's about it. I've been at the company for quite a while now, though. And the thing about us is that we're both travel obsessed, and it's quite lucky that we work in travel. And it's great that we've got someone with us who also works in the industry.
Good morning to you. My name is Flavio. I'm heading the Italian National Tourist Board here in the UK, in London, and we follow the UK and Irish markets. So I'm travel obsessed as well.
Not just Italy, everywhere.
Not
right?
just Italy. I mean, I can say that, can't I?
Yeah. So me and you, Flavio, we've known each other a little while. Obviously, I'm usually pestering you for money, like all tourist boards. How, you guys know, right?
I'm pestering you for free holidays.
Yeah. It's so much easier as editorial than it is the sales guy. I'll tell you that right now. So, Flavio, you've worked at Tourist Board for 15 years?
Yes, something 16, in fact. Yes. 16,
so you must have some good stories.
There's been loads, yeah.
Actually,
something I can tell, something I really can't.
So I'm going to put you on the spot before we talk about, which is Overtourism today. Favorite destination that's not Italy? Just a really simple question.
I kind of have to say it used to be South Africa, but
Of course, no one is saying that.
But no, it still is obviously. But last year I went to Japan and just fell in love. I just fell in love with Japan, and one day I'll go back for sure. Yeah,
perfect. If you had to say a destination that offers the best food that's not Italy, and I know you've got to be very careful here, and you had to choose between Greek, French, British, or Spanish, what would offer the best food? And I know you've got to be careful here, but I want to put you on the spot.
I kind of have to say Brits.
Yes, that's the correct answer.
No, it is. No, I mean, British, Spanish as well. I mean, yeah, definitely British and Spanish.
Can you say which is your favorite region in Italy for food, or is that too
No,
controversial?
I can say that. I mean, it's Emilia-Romagna, like I think most people think so.
Do you have roast dinners? What's it? Do you like a good roast dinner?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
What's the equivalent in Italy of a roast dinner?
It's very similar. I mean, it's could be beef. In Italy, it's very common veal. I know in this country it's not so much, but in Italy it's roast veal. Yeah, that's
nice.
Probably one of the most common. Yeah.
Well, listen, we're going to talk about overtourism today. It is a subject that has been thrashed around and talked about a lot. What I've learned from my 20 years or so is there's no magic wand, is there? It's like the popular destinations are popular for a reason, and it takes a lot for people to change their holiday habits. But I'm kind of keen today to look slightly under the bonnet and see, I guess, our best predictions for the future, and maybe even get your little thoughts on tips of what us tourists can do. So do you want to tell me just a little bit about how your day-to-day job and throughout the year you deal with overtourism, whether it be through the campaigns you run or whether it be through the PR and stuff like that? It'd be interesting to hear how much of your job is involved in managing that.
Yeah, it's quite busy. Of course, it's tourism. It's very seasonal. I mean, there are seasonal months that are busier than others. Generally, we promote Italy in this country and other countries as well directly to the consumer, so through ads or articles on papers and magazines. But we work a lot also with the tour operators and with the trade, with the tourism trade.
Do you think the difference? I've just been away to St Ives because I told you I was a UK coastal expert, and I'm like a classic British person where I moan about the cost of everything, and then I moan about there's too many people on the beach and stuff like that. But the fact is that, it's still busy, even though the costs are during peak season really quite expensive. Do you think they've got the balance right? And it's not just from an Italian point of view, between the sort of costs of holidays in August versus 4 weeks later in mid-September.
Yes, it is at the moment. Yeah, I understand it could be difficult for families with children. They can go only end of July, August on holiday. But generally, we are now, what we've been doing for a few years now, nearly 10 years, is to try to educate, I don't like this word, but I mean teach people to that Italy in our case, but I believe this is all countries, at least in the Mediterranean countries, to go others, to discover other seasons. For instance, in Italy you can still go to the beach in autumn, in October, southern Italy, Sicily, for instance, even in November if you're lucky. So avoid the hot seasons, July and August, and because of the heat, obviously, but also because of the crowd and prices are higher. Of course, it's high season, so which is kind of working. I mean, lately, because last year, the figures of last year, British going to Italy on holiday, 34%, so over a third just. They went to Italy between September and November. So
That's
which
brilliant.
is a big chunk of the 1/3 in these 3 months. So the tourists are learning. I mean, of course, habits are difficult to break for everyone, myself as well. But they are learning. It's we are trying to use the shorter season and also the winter season as well. I mean, it's if you go to Rome or Naples, I mean, even in January, I mean, you can still enjoy it.
Italy's really interesting because I think one of my first times there, I went to Milan in August and it was empty. There was no one there. So it feels like Italians themselves have got a good idea of getting away from the cities and kind of exploring other parts when it's the height of summer. But you're saying that is now starting to traverse everywhere and people are starting to learn that.
The numbers I mentioned before, it was related to the British tourists, but Italian as well. I mean, when I was younger, not a long time, some years ago, I remember August was literally a dead month. I mean, everywhere, city's empty. I'm from Rome, so Rome was, on one hand, was the heat was it's difficult to bear, but on the other hand, you enjoy the city really no other month you can, because it's empty, no traffic, you can find parking space everywhere, and you enjoy the city in a different way. So if you cope with the heat, it's probably that's your month, August. Now it's less and less. Of course, Italians don't take a month holiday or 3 weeks anymore. They can't, and they rather spread it throughout the year. So, but August is still the main holiday. I mean, the 2 central weeks of August, I mean, cities are still empty, not only Milan and Rome, but if you go to Bologna, Florence, you see some tourists there burning in the sun.
So out of work, who do you personally travel with? Is it family, a
Yes.
partner?
To Italy, you mean?
Just on holiday, personally?
No, with my family, with my partner. And in Italy, of course, I go to visit my family, my parents, and who live in Rome. And yes.
Do you purposely choose a specific time of year, or is it just a case of when you've got time off?
To Italy is just every 2-3 months. It's a family that doesn't count as a holiday. I don't count it. Whereas generally holidays, I tend to go in summer. I know, I'm preaching well, and then I know. Or I try to Easter time, and because we have more bank holidays, I try to put them together, and maybe in April, which is a good month, weather-wise at least. And
it's definitely my favourite point. I think April and October, I'd say.
October, I wish I could, but for us, it's autumn is the busiest period at work, so it's really
things like World Travel
complete.
Market.
Yeah, exactly.
We went to Naples in April, though, right?
Was it April? I remember.
April, May, just that period, and we went, I guess, considered shoulder season.
Yes,
and
April.
It was great. We had and the weather was just turning. We were there for 2 days. One day, a little bit grey and overcast in Naples, and then we went to the islands and had a really nice sunny day. So we kind of timed it really well. And one of the experiences we had was meeting some of the restaurant owners who were opening up for the first time of the season. So we had a really nice conversation with them before they were too busy. I think that's one of the benefits of traveling when it's not peak season and avoiding overtourism.
Exactly.
You get that connection with people.
Exactly. Yeah.
We met this brilliant lady. And, it's easy to stereotype an honor, right? It's like, someone who's handed down a load of traditional recipes and whatever. But the whole restaurant sort of was built around the nonna, and she also happened to be the only fish lady. Do you call
Yeah,
it
I guess.
fish female
Fisherwoman.
fisherman on the island, and so they got her out. It was
On
nice
the
and
island,
quick.
this was Procida.
Procida,
wasn't it?
yeah.
So they got her out, and because we were interested, and there's quite a few of us, and hardly anyone else on the island, and they sort of dragged her out, and she was very, very proud to tell us all her stories. And then they started showing us pictures of her fishing, including a picture of her catching a shark. Literally, this I must have been all of 5 foot lady,
Yeah.
maybe in her 80s, catching a shark.
Oh.
Obviously, she put the shark back and was very responsible. But the very fact that this old sweet lady was some sort of like female Popeye, I'd say.
Yeah, she was great. But I think because having been to Naples before in peak season, I noticed the difference of like going when there's not that many people there and there's just, everyone's more happy to see you as well. There's that kind of environment. But for you, in terms of over-tourism, which is what we're looking at today, are there any tips that you have for people to go to Italy and avoid those seasons specifically in terms of areas to go to or times of year for you?
Oh, yes. Apart from of course, the period, try to go on shoulder season if you can. But also, if you've been to, I understand the first time you go to Italy, you want to see the main cities and the cultural sites. But once you've seen them, Florence, Venice, Rome, I suggest, we are suggesting people to explore a bit of other places in Italy which are just as beautiful, less known, and maybe just even outside the cities. For instance, I'm talking about Rome because I'm from there and know it better than other cities. Just outside Rome, so you have the lakes, a region of the lakes or mountains, really less than an hour from Rome. And we suggest why not staying there, and maybe if you want to see Rome, you can do the opposite, a day trip into the city, but enjoy the surroundings. And I'm talking about Rome, but this can apply to Florence, same, and there are beautiful surroundings in Florence, or even Milan, you'll have the lakes. I mean, there are over tourists as well in Como, but anyway, so this applies to all cities in Italy. So that's what I'm suggesting, to explore the vicinity, and then maybe still go to the city for the day, but without the crowd. And
that's really good, because sometimes I think with lots of things in tourism, we in our promotions we talk about quite dramatic changes for people to change their holiday, whether it be on sustainable tourism or responsible tourism. And actually, just that little tip of just go a little extra half an hour out of the city, and you'll get so many more.
And that's also sustainable as well. I mean, in economic terms as well. I mean, it's the income from tourism goes also to other territories, not only the usual places and cities. So you're trying to spread like this the income from the tourism all over Italy.
We it kind of links me on to what you would say would be a tip outside of cost. A tip to maybe your best guess of what people can do in the future to encourage a slightly even more spread in terms of seasonality and stuff. Do you think? Again, it's an impossible question to answer, but do you think there's anything more that people can, tourist boards in particular, can do?
I mean, people, of course, tourists, depends on the flights and the hotels. So we are in talk, I mean, of course, with the airlines to the seasonal flights they have to make it longer all year round, or at least, I mean, longer. And of course, the airlines blame. I mean, on one hand, they are right. The hotels that they close down, and the hotels that say if we had the flights, we would be still open. So it's a vicious circle that we are trying to break together with the local authorities, local tourist boards, and it's kind of working. I mean, we are in talk with some airlines. The length, I mean, for instance, there are some airlines that used to go to Sardinia until the end of September. Now it's end of October. So slowly give the opportunity also to tourists or travelers to go to Italy in our case and have the opportunity, because of course if you have no flights, no hotels, I mean it's pointless for us to go in Italy in November because but we are trying to work together exactly with the infrastructures in Italy and the airlines.
I think it's a very exciting time for Italy. We've been quite a few times. I've been plenty of times. But there's some regions still that I want to explore and I want to visit. And you've got the Winter Olympics coming up as well.
Yes,
in the
yes,
next few
exactly.
years. So what can people look
February.
forward to in the next few months and years in terms of Italy and different regions that you think might become a focus for travel?
We are concentrating a bit more now on the mountains in Italy, of course, with the Olympics coming up, and that's an excuse not to send people to watch the Olympics because they are probably sold out already. So, but with the excuse of the Olympics, and Milan and Cortina, they don't really need probably promotion, but all the surrounding areas. So 4 regions are actually involved in the Olympics. It's called Milan Cortina, but actually it's the Lombardia, Veneto, South Tyrol, and Trentino are involved there. All the games will be held in all 4 regions. So we are trying to promote all these areas now. And
is there a long-term plan? Because obviously you will have a lot of people there for the Olympics.
Because Italy, in this country, Italy is not... it's of course, we know that there are the Alps and skiing, but it's not as popular as maybe a city break or the beaches. So trying to push now with the mountain, not only skiing or winter sports, but also going in summer. So that's why in summer, if you still can go to Italy, but you can't cope with the heat in Sicily or in Puglia, you can go on the Dolomite, beautiful, a bit fresher, and you can still enjoy Italy and the food and the wine anyway, even in the north, because wherever you go to Italy, as you know, you are fed very well.
Is there a place or a destination that you think in this autumn or maybe next year in Italy that you think actually this is going to take off? This is a beautiful destination. You probably don't want to say it, but is there one in mind that you're thinking?
I don't know now, the future. I mean, it's, I wanted to say, but it already is. I mean, Matera, for instance, it was relatively unknown, I don't know, 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
Then it was the capital of culture in Europe. James Bond was filmed there, the latest one, No Time to Die. So since then, it's already known. I mean, it's probably the wrong example.
Are they now
not over
suffering from
not yet. Not yet. So we have
Okay.
to be careful there, just not to cross that line.
Do you do anything like limit, or are they trying to limit the amount of people going there? Are they doing anything
Nothing like that at the moment, no. They are still coping with the tourism, but yeah, we have to be careful there, and we have to be careful not to, because it's still beautiful and you can still visit it without all the
It is
crowds.
stunning.
Yeah.
It's
You
stunning.
can stay in the caves, right? You've been there? Or?
No, I've just seen a million pictures and I just...
Sorry. I'm
yeah.
probably guilty of that. But yeah,
If
it was one
you-
of the best places I've been to.
Yeah, but presumably because of the movie stuff you do.
Yeah, so I went just after the film came out, but it was in that weird COVID period when you could still travel, but not everyone was traveling. We did a road trip, went into Matera and Puglia. So yeah, no, but it was the film that inspired me. But you could see then, even then, you could still stay in a cave, and it was a locally run Airbnb. The family had been there for I don't know how many decades, and they were really ingrained in the local culture. They were telling stories about when they were filming James Bond and everything. But you could see some of the buildings going up on the outskirts, which were quite modern hotels and things.
Yeah, I
so you
know.
never know how things like that will change and how they will develop. But obviously you want as many people as possible to see amazing places like that as well. So there is that side of it. And I've certainly written about it and spoken about it and told people to go. But then I guess I'm partly responsible if there is over-tourism as well.
Does the Venice daily charge still exist?
Yes, it's 5. It's not it's a daily charge, but it's only for the time being. It's a kind of test. They are testing. It's been a year now. It's only 30 days per year. It's €5 for whoever is not sleeping there. If you have a hotel, if you're sleeping there, you don't pay these €5. Of course, if you just go for the day, then yes, it's a sort of
So does that affect...
contribution to keep the city if you just go for the day. So
I don't think it's a
presumably you
bad,
don't spend a lot
I don't
of
think
money.
it's a bad thing. I don't know if I
to
should be
honest,
saying this, but I think it's okay.
The media, sometimes I took it a bit, but it's not a bad. I mean, €5, of course. I mean, I'm not saying that it's a lot. It can be different for different people, but if you go for the day, you don't spend it as at all if you sleep there. But if you go for the day, €5 just to it's of course is reinvested in the city to keep the
That's
city. For the tourists and for who lives there as well, safe and clean. So I don't think it's something, and it's only 30 days per year. Of course, it's probably Easter, Carnival, and but generally then you don't pay yet.
Perfect. I've got no more questions for Flavio. What about you?
When are you sending us to Italy again? I guess that's the question.
Soon.
Thank you for joining us. You're an all-round nice guy.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me. It
Thanks
was
a
a
lot.
pleasure. Thank you.